This story begins with a beautiful girl named Jay, who is on her way to her new school for her first day. From the outside, she looks very cute and innocent, but in reality, she's not so innocent. She transferred from her previous school because she had caused a lot of problems there, but this time she has promised herself that she will be completely calm, won't get into trouble with anyone, and will just focus on her studies and graduate successfully. She's also happy because this school is big and famous, so she has decided to work very hard this time. But as soon as she enters, she notices that all the students are rich, and what's more, everyone is walking around with their boyfriends or girlfriends. But as soon as Jay steps inside, she accidentally bumps into a student and immediately apologizes, but the boy doesn't even respond. He just stares at her and walks away. Jay gets angry, but reminds herself that she promised herself no more problems. After that, she goes to the student affairs office, shows her card, and asks where her classroom is. The people there behave very rudely towards her and barely tell her which class she needs to go to. She is surprised by their behavior but quietly leaves and heads towards the classroom. As soon as she arrives, she feels like she's entered a time portal. The place is completely deserted and dirty, as if she's arrived at a haunted castle. The other classrooms were all modern and shiny, but her class looked like a ruin. She tells herself, "It's okay, never mind. Whatever the outside looks like, the class inside will be fine." As soon as she goes inside, she finds a group of boys. She asks them where Class E is, but one of the boys deliberately gives her the wrong directions and is rude to her. Jay even shows him that the office told her this was the correct room, but they think she's a new girl who can be easily fooled. Then one of the rude boys speaks to her in an abusive tone and gives her directions to another wrong classroom. Jay's blood boils, and she feels like punching him in the face. But then she realizes that this boy is actually a bully. She goes to the other classroom, where everything is clean and disciplined. The students are well dressed, giving off a top student vibe. But as soon as everyone looks at her, she's shocked. The class leader comes up and asks for her name, then looks at her card and says that this isn't her class. She's been assigned to the same old dirty classroom. Now Jay understands that the rude boy lied to her. Angrily, she goes back, thinking of confronting him. But as soon as she enters the classroom, she's shocked. The class is full of boys. Not a single girl. Jay angrily says, "Why am I the only girl here?" But then she composes herself and starts thinking, "It's okay, I'm alone, but I'm equal to 100 boys." The teacher introduces her to the class, but the boys start making fun of her. Then the same boy who tricked her earlier appears. His name is Kiefer. He's not only the class leader but also the biggest bully. He laughs at Jay and says that it will be difficult for her to survive in this class. Jay is burning with anger inside, but she doesn't show it outwardly. When it's time to sit down, no one is willing to sit next to her. Finally, she has to sit alone in the middle. Then Kiefer throws a banana peel at her and, along with the other students, makes a plan to get rid of this girl from the class. They all throw paper, food, and dirt at her. Jay wants to complain to the teacher, but then the bell rings and the class ends. As soon as the teacher leaves, the whole class attacks Jay. The girl becomes like a human trash can. Frightened, she runs out and reaches the school canteen. There, the Class A leader sees her and asks if everything is all right in the class or if someone bothered her. But Jay lies and says that everyone welcomed her nicely. The other wealthy students know that the Class E kids are troublemakers and delinquents, so they don't believe her. They tell Jay that the canteen belongs to them and that she should go eat in her own classroom. Reluctantly, Jay goes back to the dirty classroom. Feeling hungry, she takes out her food to eat alone. But as soon as the other boys smell the food, they snatch it all away. She is shocked that they didn't even leave a single piece of food for her. At that moment, a new student enters. His name is Felix. Felix talks to her, and it's clear that he's not rude like the others, but a kind and sensible person. He apologizes to Jay for his classmates' behavior and explains that Class E students aren't allowed in the canteen. That's why they're always hungry. Then Felix gives her some advice. Never trust anyone and don't take out your food in front of others, or they'll snatch it all away. Jay thanks him, but as soon as she foolishly takes out her food from her bag, Felix himself grabs it and says, "Hey, I just told you not to trust anyone. Don't you understand anything?" Jay is furious and decides to have nothing to do with these crazy people. Later, when class starts, a female teacher arrives, but she's shocked by the state of the classroom. The entire room is filled with trash. She clearly states that she won't teach the class until it's clean, and if they don't clean it, she'll fail everyone. Hearing this, Jay is happy because she didn't like the messy state of the classroom anyway. She immediately grabs cleaning supplies and asks the students for help, and they all say, "Yes, yes, we'll do it right away." But the next moment, they close the door and leave her alone inside. Jay is furious because she has to do the cleaning alone. She's afraid the teacher might fail her, so she cleans with all her might until she's completely exhausted. She reaches home in the evening, and we learn that she lives at her uncle's house so she can be close to the school. Her aunt asks her how her first day was, but Jay lies, saying that everyone treated her well and everything was perfect. Hearing this, her aunt is happy and explains that she shouldn't create any problems, otherwise she'll be kicked out of this school too. Jay promises that this time she will control herself. The next day, Jay goes to school with a plan. This time she hides her food and goes to a corner of the campus to eat so that no one bothers her. But then Kiefer arrives and sits down next to her without asking and starts eating her food. Jay looks at him in surprise and notices that Kiefer is actually quite handsome, but she still can't stand him. As soon as they get to class, Kiefer gives her a note and tells her to bring them food from the canteen because they can't go inside. But Jay flatly refuses. "I'm not your servant." Hearing this, Kiefer explodes in anger and says that if she wants to stay in the class, she has to follow their rules. But Jay retorts, "I'm not afraid of anyone. You think I'm an innocent girl? You haven't seen my strength." Just then, the teacher comes in, and the atmosphere calms down. During the break, Jay wants to eat alone in peace somewhere, but the other boys follow her. Out of desperation, she has to share her food with everyone so they'll leave her alone. Jay angrily thinks, "If I hadn't promised my aunt and myself that I wouldn't cause any trouble, I would teach them all a lesson right now." Suddenly, a new student enters the class, a red-haired boy named Yuri. The other boys are happy to see him because he has brought food for them, but as soon as his eyes fall on Jay, he looks at her suspiciously and asks, "Who is this crazy girl?" The others tell him that she is a new student. Yuri suspects that Jay might be a spy for the rich students. Jay is surprised because she has never seen him before. When she asks Felix about him, Felix tells her that his name is Yuri, and he is also a student in Class E. He often goes to Japan to visit his family, but in reality, he and Kiefer are very close friends and do everything together. Then Yuri talks to Kiefer separately and says that he doesn't want any girls in the class. Kiefer also says that he tried very hard to scare Jay, but this girl is completely fearless. In fact, her attitude and sharp tongue are even more formidable than theirs. Yuri then makes a plan that they will harass Jay so much that she will leave the class herself, and if she doesn't leave the class, she will have to leave the school. The day ends and Jay returns home where her uncle is waiting for her. Jay's uncle asks her about her class. Instead of telling the truth, Jay says that she is in Class E and everything is going well. Her uncle, who was once a school principal, tells her that Class E is actually a class for mischievous students who can't be adjusted anywhere else. He warns her to stay away from them. They are all thugs and can cause harm at any time. Jay laughs and says, "Oh, but they all look nice." The next day, on her way to school, she meets a handsome but aggressive boy. She sees him fighting with some boys alone and actually breaking their bones. Later, he introduces himself as Cian. He walks to school with Jay, and Jay is shocked when he tells her he's only 14 years old, but he's so smart that he got admitted to this school quickly. Jay is impressed by his personality. During their conversation, Cian tells her why the students from Class E are banned from the canteen. Apparently, there was a girl in their class named Ella, whom Kiefer was in love with, but Kiefer caught her cheating in the canteen, and in a fit of rage, trashed the entire place. Since that day, everyone has been banned. Cian tells Jay that if she really wants to help, she should bring them food. Jay happily agrees. During the break, Jay actually brings food and gives it to Cian. Cian thanks her and keeps her secret from the others. Jay also eats her own food alone and attends the rest of her classes. But at the end of the day, when she tries to get up, she realizes her skirt is stuck to the chair. Kiefer had put glue on her seat. Jay tries to get free but is stuck, and all the boys laugh. Finally, she asks Kian and Felix for help. "I bring you food every day. Now help me." Reluctantly, they pull her, and her skirt tears. Jay blushes with embarrassment. Cian immediately gives her his jacket so she can cover herself. He also warns her, "Stay away from Kiefer. If he targets you, he won't let you live in peace." Jay is fuming with anger and thinks about dropping the class. But then she realizes that doing so would mean Kiefer wins. She goes straight to the school parking lot and confronts Kiefer in front of everyone. "Listen, Kiefer, I'm not going anywhere. Bullies like you can't scare me." Saying this, she throws her jacket at his face and says, "What have you gained from the world? Take this too." Kiefer is silenced in front of the whole class, and everyone stares at him in shock. Jay leaves the parking lot with a triumphant smile. Kiefer is seething inside because she humiliated him in front of everyone. Later, Sean drops her home and gives her his other jacket. Just then, some thugs appear. They are the same boys Sean beat up that morning. They had come for revenge. When Jay reaches home, she sees her cousin sitting at the dining table. He studies at the same school, but his attitude is completely different. He hates Jay because he's ashamed that his cousin is a student in Class E. At the dinner table, he doesn't even talk to her and makes sarcastic remarks. Her uncle intervenes and tells his son to treat Jay like his sister and take care of her. He also orders him to drop her off at school in the car from the next day. The cousin reluctantly agrees. The next morning, Jay goes to school with him in the car so that her uncle thinks everything is normal. As soon as she reaches the classroom and sees her chair, the scene from the previous evening flashes back to her, but she doesn't let any weakness show on her face. Just then, Kiefer comes to her again and gives her the same old note saying, "Go and get food for us." Jay initially refuses. "I'm not anyone's servant." Kiefer warns her that the kids are hungry, and if she doesn't bring the food, there will be consequences. Jay finally agrees, but says she's doing it out of pity, not fear. She brings a huge amount of food, so much that it's overflowing. The wealthy students laugh at her. "Wow, the maid from Class E has arrived." Even her cousin sees her and is shocked that a girl like his sister is being treated this way. For the first time, he feels a little sorry for Jay. As soon as Jay brings the food, all the hungry students pounce on it and the food disappears in an instant. But Jay has become used to all this now. This time, they give Jay a chance to eat with them, and Jay happily agrees. While eating, it's clear that Class E is slowly starting to accept Jay, even Kiefer and Yuri. Just then, the teacher enters the classroom and calls out Jay's full name. Hearing this, the students are shocked because they realize that her cousin Aries is one of the rich students. From that moment on, everyone's attitude changes. But Jay doesn't understand why people's behavior towards her has suddenly changed. She tries to talk to them, but no one answers. On the contrary, they even refuse to take food from her. Meanwhile, some students in the class start digging into her personal life. A hacker student finds news from her old school and shows everyone how mischievous Jay was there. She even sent a boy to the hospital just because he teased her. Then, another student suddenly brings up news that Jay's childhood was very painful. Her father disappeared and never returned. Her mother remarried and abandoned her. Since then, she had been living with her grandmother. But now, to adjust to the new school, she had to move to her uncle's house. Hearing all this, Kiefer's suspicion deepens. He thinks that Jay was deliberately sent to their class by her cousin so that she could spy on them. Meanwhile, Jay still doesn't understand why everyone is angry with her. Upon arriving home, she asks Aries, but he refuses to tell her anything. Jay becomes even more confused. The next day, the same scene repeats itself at school. As soon as class ends, all the children leave and lock Jay inside, thinking she will clean the classroom alone. Jay overhears their conversation and realizes that everyone is trying to exclude her from the class. But this time, Jay refuses to back down. Just then, Kiefer comes in and spills the entire contents of the dustbin onto the floor. He even throws some of the trash at Jay. But Jay, angered, grabs the dustbin and throws all the trash down, saying, "If I'm going to clean, you will too." A fight breaks out between them. Just then, Yuri enters, fearing that Kiefer might start a physical fight. He says that if the principal finds out, both of them will be expelled from school. Hearing this, Kiefer reluctantly puts aside his pride and starts cleaning with Jay. For the first time, Jay feels that she has truly defeated Kiefer. The next day, Jay goes to school in her cousin's car, but midway she sees Kian. Jay immediately gets out of the car and starts walking with him. She notices that Kian has bruises on his face. When she asks him about it, he tells her that the boys he had a fight with that morning ganged up on him. He was alone, so he lost. Jay tells him everything that happened in the class and how everyone turned against her. Then, hesitantly, she asks, "Will you leave me too?" Cian smiles and says, "If anyone asks me, I'll say I didn't know you lived with Ares, and I won't leave your side." Jay's heart feels lighter for the first time. They both enter the classroom together, but the atmosphere inside is even more shocking. Kiefer is fighting with a boxer student. The condition was that whoever wins will become the new class leader. The fight was so intense that the atmosphere of the class completely changed. Jay gets angry and slams a chair down, stopping everyone. Then she says, "Why are you deciding things by fighting like this? The right way is an election. There will be voting, and whoever wins will be the leader." Everyone likes her idea and agrees, but during the break, when Jay goes to the cafeteria, she finds out that she has also been banned. That's when the rich girl from before helps her and gets her some food. Jay thanks her for the first time. But as soon as she returns to the classroom, she finds out that the election has completely failed, and the students have started fighting again. This time, Jay supports the boxer and cheers him on to defeat Kiefer. Hit him from the right, now a left hook. But fate takes a turn, and Kiefer wins with a knockout in the first round. All the students start shouting his name, and he becomes the class leader again. Jay feels bad seeing the boxer's condition. She goes to him, cleans his wounds, and gives him food, and perhaps at this moment she understands for the first time where her place is in the class. During PE class, when all the students were comfortably changing clothes, Jay feels a little embarrassed. She tries to close her eyes but can't completely, and then her eyes fall on Kiefer. He was changing his shirt, and Jay is simply amazed by his body. Her heart starts beating faster. Then everyone goes out to the ground for exercise. There, Jay sees her cousin Ares sitting with his girlfriend Ella, but her eyes fall on Kiefer, who was glaring at them with jealousy. That's when Jay understands everything. Kiefer had once loved Ella, but she had left him and chosen Ares. This is why Kiefer is angry with his cousin, and he wants revenge at all costs. The game begins, and Kiefer angrily throws the ball at Jay. The other children start imitating him, until one ball hits Jay hard in the face. She falls to the ground. Blood starts flowing, and she screams, crying. Everyone's faces fall at the sight. Even Kiefer feels remorse for the first time. Ares immediately takes Jay home. Jay stays locked in her room for 2 days, not even going to school. Then her aunt comes to her. She cooks her favorite food and says, "You have to go back to school. Exams are coming up." Jay gathers some courage and agrees. One day she goes to the mall, but some thugs start harassing her there. Actually, this was all part of Kiefer's plan. But at this moment, Kiefer makes a heroic entrance and saves her. He makes Jay sit down, bandages her wound, and brings her ice cream. His intention was to indirectly apologize. For the first time, Jay feels something for Kiefer, but she restrains herself. She says, "I will only forgive you when you apologize sincerely." But Kiefer's ego is so big that he flatly refuses. Jay leaves in anger, but doesn't forget to take the ice cream. "You paid for it, right? Why should I leave it?" The next day at school, Jay is changing clothes in the bathroom. Suddenly, some rich girls come in and start talking nonsense about her. How ugly she is, yet she has such an attitude. Jay doesn't stay silent anymore. As soon as she comes out, the girls are putting on makeup, and Jay angrily throws water at them and runs away. The girls angrily chase after her and finally catch her. Jay thinks that Ares will come and save her, but Ares bluntly tells her to apologize if she made a mistake. The girls start acting even worse. A rich girl says, "You're from Class E, and I'm from Class A. I'll only forgive you if you lick my shoes." Jay's anger explodes. "You know where this shoe is going? To your mother, and you can go and make her lick it." The whole atmosphere heats up. The girls move forward to hit her, but then Kiefer and his gang make an entrance. They say they'll break the face of anyone who touches Jay. A fight breaks out. Jay also jumps in and slaps the rich girl. Meanwhile, a boy tries to throw dirty water at Jay, but the same boxer boy whom Jay had helped earlier steps in and saves her. The water falls on him instead. Jay is surprised to see him because he saved her without caring about his own life. He gets Jay out of there and gets injured himself. Later, Jay goes to the hospital, meets the boxer, and thanks him sincerely. Meanwhile, Yuri and Kiefer are having a meeting. Yuri says, "All our tricks have failed. Jay is still in the class." Kiefer replies with a cold smile, "Now I'll trap her in love. Then I'll break her heart. That will be my revenge on Ares." Yuri is shocked to hear this, because Jay was unknowingly about to become a part of Kiefer's dangerous plan. The next day, everyone asks Jay what happened to her, but she lies, saying she's just a little sick. Kiefer doesn't trust him. He suspects someone hurt Jay. He tells his friend to find out who did it. During break time, the kids in the class check Jay's bag and steal her food. Jay chases after them, and Kiefer, seeing her, is smitten by her innocent heart. Now he realizes that this attraction isn't fake. He's genuinely starting to like Jay. At the end of the day, Kiefer hears that some rich students are fighting with Jay on the field. Jay stands her ground. She takes down 2 of them single-handedly. But the third boy attacks her from behind and is about to break her arm when Kiefer makes a heroic entrance. He pushes the boy away and stands behind Jay, saying, "She's not alone anymore." Together, they beat up the rich boys. Jay, exhausted, lies down on the ground and thanks Kiefer. Kiefer, blushing, leaves. Just then, Yuri arrives and tells Jay not to get Kiefer into trouble. If the principal finds out, he'll be expelled from school. Yuri himself takes Jay away from there. Then it starts raining. He shelters Jay under his umbrella, but Jay slips and falls in the mud, and in trying to help her up, Yuri also falls. They fall on top of each other. For a moment, their eyes meet and both their hearts flutter. Jay shyly moves away. Yuri offers to drop her home in his car. On the way, he notices that Jay is shivering, so he gives her his jacket. Jay falls asleep from exhaustion, and Yuri doesn't wake her but takes her to his house. When she wakes up, she's astonished. Yuri's house is like a palace. As soon as they enter, a maid is there to greet them. This is where we learn that Yuri comes from a super rich family. His grandfather owns the Hanamichi group. After this, Yuri takes her to his room and tells her to change her clothes. Jay, in a mischievous tone, asks, "What kind of flirtatious guy is he?" "I know everything." Yuri immediately retorts, "Stop the drama and change your clothes." Then Jay is enjoying the city view when Yuri comes up behind her. Jay teases him about his hair. Through these small interactions, they begin to understand each other better. Gradually, a deep friendship develops between them. Then Yuri introduces her to his grandfather. The grandfather immediately likes Jay because she is simple, well-mannered, and sweet. They eat together. Jay doesn't know how to use chopsticks, so she eats with her hands. The grandfather smiles. This girl is different. The next day, Jay goes to school. She thanks Yuri at the gate. They both laugh and enter the classroom. Kiefer sees them together and gets jealous. But Yuri tells him everything, which eases his suspicion. That same day, the principal calls them in. The fight from the previous night has become a big issue. Jay remembers that Yuri had warned her to save Kiefer from trouble. Hesitantly, Jay takes all the blame. She says she started the fight. Kiefer is stunned to hear this. For the first time, he realizes how different Jay is. After school, her uncle comes. He angrily scolds her, "You promised you wouldn't cause any trouble." Jay apologizes and promises that she won't cause any more problems. Her uncle starts to drop her home but gets busy on the way and gives her his card, saying, "Take a taxi home and buy whatever you want." Jay's eyes light up. Wow, what a card. Now it's shopping time, and she really goes on a shopping spree. Meanwhile, Kiefer and his gang meet at Yuri's house. Kiefer angrily explains his plan. "Now I will make Jay fall in love with me. She will love me. And then I will break her heart, just like her cousin snatched Ella from me and broke my heart." Everyone is stunned to hear this. Yuri thinks the plan is completely wrong, but he can't say anything because he's afraid the others will think he's a traitor. The next day, when Jay comes to school, everyone treats her very nicely. Even Kiefer reserves a seat for her and says, "Come, sit next to me." Jay is surprised. "What's going on? Am I dead?" Jay still couldn't understand how Kiefer had suddenly changed so much. Reluctantly, she sits down in the seat next to him, secretly happy that the boy had finally reformed. Meanwhile, Yuri is watching everything. He wants to warn Jay, but at the last moment, he remains silent. During break time, when Jay goes out of the classroom, Kiefer follows her. He tries to talk to her and asks, "Where are you going?" Jay is surprised that he's being so sweet. She thinks, "Tell me the truth. What's the plan? Is he going to play a prank?" And walks away without answering. Then Kiefer playfully touches her leg. Jay almost falls, but Kiefer quickly grabs her hand. Their eyes meet. Kiefer's smile makes Jay even more embarrassed. Her heart starts beating faster, but she lies to herself, "No, nothing's wrong," and quickly leaves. She goes to the canteen to get some water, but as soon as she comes out, she hears a strange sound from behind the dustbin. Hesitantly, she goes closer and sees that it's not a prank, but a girl. Mika. She's crying uncontrollably, and her clothes are dirty. Jay realizes that the rich students tortured Mika because she refused to bully Jay. Jay feels sorry for Mika and takes her to the bathroom to clean her face, fix her clothes, and makes a promise. From now on, I will protect you. Mika becomes very emotional and accepts Jay's offer, joining her in class. Seeing Mika in the class, Kiefer gets angry. Get her out of here. We don't need any more problems. But Jay is determined not to back down. She declares in front of everyone, I want this girl. I will never leave her alone. Kiefer is left speechless, and Jay sits down next to Mika. Even after class ends, Jay walks out with Mika to ensure no one bothers her. That's when she notices Calix following them from a distance. Jay jokingly asks Mika, Is that your ex? Mika reluctantly tells the truth. She says, Yes, we were together once. He proposed to me, and I thought he was sincere. But Ella warned me that Calix was just using me. She actually saw him with another girl. When I found out the truth, I broke up with him. We haven't spoken since. Jay is moved by her story and holds her hand, saying, From today, I'm your best friend. Tears of joy well up in Mika's eyes. Returning home, Jay asks her cousin to protect Mika as well and tell the other kids not to bully her anymore. Her cousin agrees, but Ella feels bad that Mika is being targeted because of her. The next day, Jay comes to class full of energy, greeting everyone with jokes and laughter. Kiefer sees this and walks over, demanding, You say hello to everyone but not me? Am I the black sheep? Jay immediately retorts, Are you even on my level for me to joke with you? Kiefer is left speechless. Just then, Ella enters the classroom. She calls Jay over and thanks her for helping with Mika's situation. Ella says, Please take care of Mika. I won't be able to be there for her all the time, Jay promises. But then Ella tells her that Mika might want to give Calix another chance. I don't trust him. Please stop her. Jay flatly refuses. It's her decision. If she wants to give Calix a chance, that's her right. Ella smiles superficially, but Jay senses that she's planning something else. As soon as Jay returns to the classroom, everyone crowds around her. What did Ella say? But Jay doesn't tell them anything. Suddenly, Calix receives a message on his phone and frantically rushes off to find Mika. Jay and the others follow him and see a rich boy proposing to Mika with flowers. The rich girls encourage their friend, accept it. But Mika hesitates, remembering Jay's words because she still has feelings for Calix. The rich boy gets angry and shouts at Jay, Don't interfere, and tries to pick a fight. Kiefer and his gang immediately step forward to protect Jay and threaten the rich boy. If you bother her again, we'll make your life miserable. The atmosphere becomes tense. Just then, Calix arrives. He stops Mika and apologizes in front of everyone. He says, Yes, I made a mistake, but I've truly changed now. Give me another chance. His emotional confession touches everyone. Tears well up in Mika's eyes, and she accepts his apology. Thus, Mika rejects the rich boy and chooses Calix. Jay is happy to see her friend happy. Everyone in the class is happy that they helped their friend, and Jay gives Mika an old letter that she had written. As soon as he opens it, he realizes the letter was sent on his birthday. It said that she loved him and trusted him. Tears welled up in his eyes as he read it, because even after the breakup, Mika had remembered his birthday. Jay encourages him to meet Mika again, and he actually does. Jay is very happy that she has reunited them, but then Kiefer arrives and finds out that Calix is going to meet Mika. Kiefer is afraid that the rich boy might get into a fight with Calix, so he goes there with Jay. There, Calix apologizes to Mika, expresses his love for her, and says that he will never hurt her again. Seeing this heartfelt moment, Kiefer keeps staring at Jay and asks her for a chance as well. Jay is happy with his words, but also embarrassed, and leaves. Back in class, Jay finds Mika waiting for her. She thanks her and gives her a letter containing her reply. But she is too shy to give it to Calix herself, so she entrusts the task to Jay. Jay is afraid that it might be a rejection, but she reluctantly gives it to Calix. Calix starts crying after reading the letter. To comfort him, Jay jokingly says, Well, you can't do anything about fate. If you can't get a kiss, a hug will do. And yes, sometimes life throws you a curveball, but it's okay. Calix hugs her and thanks her because the letter said that Mika had forgiven him and was ready to get back together. All the students in the class are very happy and cheer him on to go to his girlfriend. Afterward, they have their sports class and everyone goes to the ground. The teacher says, "You guys start training, I'm just going to the washroom." During this time, Kiefer starts bothering Jay again and pushes her, making her fall. But our Jay is no pushover. She says, "What's wrong with you?" and in return trips him, making him fall. All the students in the class are shocked, and Kiefer is about to hit her in anger. Just then, he starts laughing and chases her all over the field. Finally, he catches her and lifts her up in front of everyone. At that moment, his eyes are drawn to Jay's beauty, and he can't control himself and kisses her lips. Everyone is stunned. This guy is truly shameless. He kissed her in public. Just then, Jay's cousin comes onto the ground and tries to take her away. But Kiefer stops him, and both of them keep pulling Jay. Finally, Kiefer proves to be stronger and pulls Jay towards himself. He hugs her in front of everyone and kisses her a second time. Everyone is shocked by the whole scene. Have some shame, man. At least there's a public audience. But this time, Jay gets furious and punches Kiefer hard in the face. His bones practically rattle. All the students are amazed that Jay is so strong. Now everyone understands that this girl is not an easy target. Kiefer goes to get his injury treated, and his friends laugh at him. "Dude, the girl humiliated you in front of everyone." His friend Yuri asks him why he did that. Kiefer explains that it was all part of his plan so that Jay would fall for him. But Yuri doesn't believe him and thinks that Kiefer has actually fallen in love with her. The next day, Jay goes to school, and seeing two couples together, she remembers Kiefer's actions from the previous day. She feels angry, but deep down she's also somewhat pleased. She realizes she's drawn to Kiefer, but she tries to convince herself that it's all a lie. "I could never fall in love with such a wild monkey," she thinks. Just then, Sean notices her and asks why she's upset. Jay explains that she couldn't sleep all night. She goes to the washroom to wash her face, where a girl notices she has a fever. The girl tells her to go to the health room for a checkup, and also warns her that the girl who was bullying her earlier is planning revenge. Jay thanks her and returns to class. In class, all the students are still laughing about yesterday's kissing scene, but Jay is too tired to pay attention. Then the teacher hands out the exam papers. All the students start writing, but Jay feels dizzy and falls asleep on the table. Kiefer and Yuri notice that she hasn't written anything and decide to help her. Finally, when the class ends and she wakes up, she remembers that she didn't write anything and becomes sad. During break time, she feels hungry and notices that there are cooking equipment in their classroom. Her inner chef mode switches on and she prepares to cook. All the students support her and bring her everything she needs. Now Jay prepares to cook for all the students. All the children gather around her, excitedly waiting to try her food. Just then, Kiefer arrives. He sees everyone laughing and says jealously, "I wish I were the one she was cooking for." Jay blushes at his words and keeps looking at him, but in the process, the food burns on the stove. The classmates tease her, "Wow, you just had to show up, didn't you, you jinx?" and everyone leaves her. A little later, the exam results are announced. Everyone rushes to see their marks, and Jay, feeling embarrassed, thinks she's going to fail. But Kiefer encourages her and takes her to see the results. There, she discovers she's gotten good grades. She's happy and realizes that Kiefer helped her. Jay thanks him. On their way back to class, Jay notices that Kian has an expensive bag. When she asks about it, he explains that a rich girl asked him to hold her bag while she went to the restroom. But when the girl returns, she accuses him of stealing money from the bag and immediately calls her boyfriend. The boyfriend starts yelling at Cian, calling him a thief, but Jay defends him, saying that Cian didn't do anything. The situation escalates into a big argument, and the other students demand that Kian be taken to the principal and expelled immediately. Just then, a wealthy student steps forward and returns the money to the girl to end the conflict. But Jay gets angry because this makes everyone think Cian is actually a thief. She's about to confront the girl and her boyfriend, but Yuri pulls her back into the classroom to prevent things from getting worse. Jay scolds Cian for not speaking up for himself. Cian, crying, explains that he lacks confidence and that no one would believe him anyway. Hearing this, Jay's heart melts. She hugs him and tells him that she trusts him. After school, Jay walks Cian home and meets his mother. She understands that her mother is always busy, and her father and brother also ignore her. Seeing this, Jay's heart breaks, and she thinks that Kian is very lonely. She promises that she will stand by him and prove his innocence. The next day at school, Jay sees Kiefer smoking. She gets angry, but pretends she didn't see anything. But Kiefer follows her. He apologizes and promises that he won't do it again. Jay forgives him, but on one condition, that he help her prove Kian's innocence. Kiefer agrees. Together they start thinking and guess that the girl who made the accusation is in cahoots with someone. So after school, they go to her house and offer her money to get her to tell the truth. But the girl doesn't budge and says that she is going to completely ruin Kian's reputation and tell everyone that he is a thief and a fraud. Jay is about to hit her in anger, but Kiefer stops her and says that violence is not the solution. "You sit in the car. I'll talk to her." Kiefer goes to talk to her alone, but the girl doesn't listen and ignores him, closing the door. Kiefer returns to the car, looking embarrassed. Jay taunts him. Yeah, you should have let me hit her. It would have been easier." The next day, Jay arrives at school angry and throws money at the rich kids in front of everyone, saying, "Now listen, everyone, Kian is not a thief. If anyone stole the money, it was me." Everyone is shocked. She returns to class thinking that the matter is over. But the real shock comes when she finds out that the bully girl had recorded a video of her and made it go viral throughout the school. She is humiliated throughout the school. But Jay doesn't care at all because for her, the victory was that she had cleared Kian's name. Kian emotionally hugs her and says that he will never forget her kindness. Later, Kiefer pays a hacker friend to delete the video, but it was too late. Jay's family had already seen the video. Her grandmother and another aunt come to visit her, but Jay is too ashamed to face them. She secretly overhears them saying bad things about her, that she causes trouble wherever she goes. This breaks her heart. She feels like no one understands her. In anger and sadness, she leaves the house and rides away on her bicycle. To relieve her stress, Jay goes to a restaurant and orders her favorite food, but the same toxic students are there, forcing the owner to kick her out because they claim she's a thief. The owner, fearing business losses, also requests Jay to leave peacefully. Our heroine is heartbroken and is about to leave. That's when Yuri enters. He sees the scene and immediately tells the owner to kick out all the customers, except for Jay. Not only that, he promises to pay for the entire day's profits himself. The owner, intimidated by Yuri's powerful family and business empire, is forced to comply and kicks out the toxic students. Then, Yuri invites Jay to sit with him and tells the owner that whatever Jay orders will be on his account. Jay is touched by his help and happily eats her meal, while Yuri simply watches her. It's clear that he's now genuinely developing feelings for Jay. Meanwhile, Kiefer watches all this and becomes jealous, wondering if this guy is going to take his place. While eating, Yuri asks Jay why she helped Kian. Jay explains that she considers her classmates like siblings because she had a real brother who is no longer alive. Yuri is deeply impressed by her sincerity and is now completely falling in love with her. Just then, Kiefer receives a call from his friend and quickly leaves. Seeing an opportunity, Yuri asks Jay if she has ever been in love. Jay hesitantly tells him that she was in a relationship before, but her boyfriend went into a coma. Yuri wants to know more, but Jay changes the subject and asks him if he has ever been in love. Yuri reveals that he was also in love with someone, but the girl left him for Jay's cousin, meaning Yuri was also in love with Ella. Jay understands his pain and tries to cheer him up, lightening his mood. It gets late, and Yuri decides to drop her home on his bicycle. Yuri rides the bicycle at high speed, and Jay, frightened, clings to him tightly. Playfully, she tickles Yuri, and they both fall off the bicycle, losing their balance. Jay injures her leg, and Yuri immediately bandages her wound. Then he puts her on the bicycle and walks alongside her. Jay's heart melts. She feels that there is truly someone who cares for her. Upon reaching home, Jay's grandmother and relatives are frightened to see her, thinking she has been in a major accident. Yuri immediately provides first aid, and the grandmother holds Jay's hand and comforts her. Jay is happy that her grandmother truly loves her. But then the grandmother mistakes Yuri for her boyfriend. Jay blushes and explains that he is just her classmate. Just then, her cousin arrives and gets angry upon seeing Yuri, as they are enemies. The cousin wants to kick her out of the house, but the grandmother refuses and invites her to stay for dinner. Jay is happy, while the cousin seethes inwardly. After dinner, Jay walks Yuri to his car and thanks him. Yuri is overjoyed when Jay calls him her closest friend. The next day when Jay arrives at school, what does she see? The same boy who had called Cian a thief. Now his classmates are beating him up to get the truth out of him. Jay gets angry seeing all this and stops them, saying that violence won't solve anything. But Kiefer still tries to hit him. Just then, the boy's girlfriend breaks down and tells everyone the truth. Someone had forced him to do it. But out of fear, she can't reveal the name. Then a girl enters through the door with a camera, laughing and recording everything. Finally, Jay's innocence is proven when her friend helps clear her name. Jay gets emotional and thanks her. But the shocking revelation is that the real mastermind was Kiefer. Yes, Kiefer had planned everything to prove Jay's innocence. He expects Jay to properly thank him and go on a date with him. But Jay, feeling embarrassed, flatly refuses. Kiefer gets a little irritated and snatches her food dish and runs away. Jay gets annoyed. But later she sits with her friends and starts laughing. Meanwhile, Kiefer is secretly happy that Jay is slowly getting closer to him. The next day, Yuri waits outside Jay's house in his car, and they both go to school together. In class, Kiefer sees all this and starts teasing them by snatching their food. Yuri feels jealous, worried that Jay might fall in love with Kiefer. Just then, the teacher announces that a festival week will be held at the school very soon. A week-long festival is announced where every class has to participate in a competition, and the losing class will have to clean the entire school. Jay gets excited, but Kiefer immediately refuses because their class always loses. They argue, but Jay is determined to participate. At lunchtime, Kiefer stops Jay and says that no one will steal her food anymore because he will make sure of it. Jay is happy and calls her friends. They all sit together in the classroom and eat. But then, the jealousy game begins. Yuri brings Jay her favorite food, and Kiefer suspects that Yuri will try to win her over. He also decides that he will now bring special food for Jay himself. Later, Jay learns that one of their classmates hasn't been coming to school for a long time because he works at a restaurant and has dropped out of school. Jay goes to his restaurant to convince him and says that if he rejoins school, she will help him every day. The other students also join in, and they all put on waiter uniforms and start working at the restaurant. Jay gives everyone tips. She tells Yuri to smile and Kiefer to handle the customers. The two start competing for her attention, and then a highlight scene occurs when Kiefer stumbles while serving an order and a hot drink spills on his hand. Jay immediately rushes over, cleans his wound, blows on it, and bandages it. Kiefer's feelings for her deepen because of her caring nature. But then, the real problem enters. Jay's cousin and his entire bully gang barge into the restaurant. The atmosphere becomes tense. Kiefer and his friends prepare for a fight, and that's where the first part ends. Now the real question is, whose heart will Jay's heart beat for? Kiefer, who wants to protect her honor at all costs, or Yuri, whose feelings are sincere and pure? Tell me in the comments, are you Team Yuri or Team Kiefer? And yes, don't miss the next part. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for your valuable time.